Well, Darren, some of that game, passionate, full-blooded, event-filled. We came up short in the end, but what's your take from the game?
Three really bad goals. Learning moment for a young man. Some excellent character with adversity. The best thing I can sum it up. I'll never be worried about this group of men. Whether we win 2 in a row, lose 2 in a row, win 3 in a row, because they'll always respond. And we saw that with their character today on the pitch, which is the hardest place to respond, is when you're in the fight or in the battle. And their response was excellent. And you know, while there's players like people like Cuthbert, Wilkinson, we'll always have a chance.
But certainly there was a lot of character shown. I mean, the first half hinged, I suppose, on 2 big events, really, didn't it? The sending off and then the opening goal.
Well, I thought he was on top. I was furious about the first goal, because more than any of the others, because it's a moment you're not reliant on having all 11 players on the pitch. I was furious with it, the way they assumed that Tozer was going to throw it in, and they take the quick short one, and that doesn't sit right with me, especially with the hours that we spend on analysis, both Ian, Marlon, and the players watching it. So I wasn't happy with that, and I expressed that at the break. But I'm also a massive believer that when the 11 use all of the 11 to beat the 10, because even if you leave 1 up, and that normally means you leave 2 back, the rest of the pitch now is equal. So the goals were really poor, and I won't allow this team to be that team that concedes crappy goals. We'll make sure of that, and the players will make sure of that, because it's good character. Kyron he's a young man. He's playing on the edge of his seat. I thought he was, for 20 minutes, him and Daly were electric and a real threat. Remember, he got clipped a couple of times before he had before he tackled. I thought he was a sending off. And Kyron, I've been in development for more years than I've been in this life, in this management roles. It's very hard to teach young people now how to tackle properly, but the key technique is to never ever let your toes leave the floor. They've got to rub or graze the surface, and unfortunately he didn't. And he's going to have to. It's a big period for him, because he's going to be probably for 3 games now out of the team. The team will miss a player of his quality, no doubt, but also there will be a vacancy in the side that he may never be able to recover from. You don't know, no one has a crystal ball. But he'll learn, and we'll support him. The big thing is to support these young people. These young people are trying to create lives for themselves. Being a footballer now is the hardest thing to do, so it will humble him. He'll have to take a few slaps across the cheek, would have thought, from senior players. I mean that metaphorically rather than physically. But that's part of it. And we all make mistakes. We had senior players make mistakes for goals today. So there are mistakes, all around the pitch. And that's how I saw the first half. I didn't like our last 10 minutes of the first half, and again, I expressed that.
And when you're down to 10 men, generally chances are few and far between from then on, because you have to absorb pressure and then make the most of your possession when you get it. But at the start of the second half, the ball in from Podge, and a young player there, good technique, wasn't it, to take it?
I love it, because he plays at such a speed, James. Such a speed. You think James is worked about. I always work on my players on concentrating on what they contribute to outcomes. James has scored a goal and made another one with the penalty. And I thought, he's got a brilliant attitude to work ethic, and his enthusiasm. But it was about addressing the attitude at half time. Again, I am not someone that, with 10 men who is going to sit back. I don't believe in it. Never have, and I never will. It's not going to change at this club or the next 10. So, we have to get, and because my teams play on such an edge, at such a frantic intensity and tempo, these tackles that, where people get there a little bit late, they happen. What are we going to say to our players? Don't tackle, be careful. Well, that's when you get booed. You get booed off the pitch for not trying to tackle. So, we're going to try and tackle. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to teach our young ones when and where to be aggressive. And you look at someone like Moss at 21, he has a unique art and instinct for his timing of his tackles. I mean, he never misses. Never misses. So, we'll work with Kyron. But no, the attitude of the team start the second half was very good. I thought the deciding moment, or a moment that took the game away from us a little bit, they changed shape. Which I very rarely see Phil Parkinson's sides do, and then we had to change, and that we had to adapt. And I thought that there was a little crossover there of 10 minutes where we conceded the second goal, and it took us a while then to get back into the game.
So, as you say, immense performances in defence to sort of keep it tight. Then the goal came, and then we were back in it again. Really, I mean, 3-1 would have said, well, it's a mountain to climb, but it was nice to see it again. The young players combine, and then Reece take his penalty well. And
a young man providing the pass for Daly in roles, having that quality and composure, which we've not had because of Jack's injury problems. So it was nice for Jack to play that pass. It was a wonderful pass. I mean, where defenders think they can get it in, it just kind of shapes and skips around them. It's a player of real appreciation. So I thought that was really excellent. But you said about the defence, I thought Ince, Anderson, Kellerman, Rolsey when he come on. I thought they were wonderful in their protection of that back four and their work, especially I thought we were the better team for opening 20 minutes.
Yeah. So in the end, coming up short, it was a heart in the mouth end to it, but it just wasn't to be. But I think what you're saying is there are encouragements to take from today.
The one thing you never want to have as a manager, or as a supporter, or as a chairman, or an owner, is you don't want to have a team that lacks character and charisma, or robustness, resilience, all of the things that get you through 10 months. The season's not going to end at the end of August, and it's not going to end at the end of December. It's going to end in April, May. And they're the only times I get concerned. And I've had teams where you look at them and you think, are they going to be able to withstand the duress of what 10 months is? Well, Scott Cuthbert's breathing, and Casey and Ross and Wilkinson and Hodge and even Daly at 21, they won't allow for that.
No.
That's not in their moral compass or in their values to allow that. So we got a good side, and we're close.
Yeah.
We're close to letting loose, and we will do. It might happen Monday. It might happen end of September. I've never had a crystal ball, so I can never really predict that. But I'm encouraged by how quickly this group of players have come together to want to be together and play for each other. So great signs for me.
Brilliant. And finally, you mentioned it Monday, Torquay, quick turnaround. I imagine there'll be quite a few fans making the journey down, probably getting a bit of sun as part of the trip as well, but another big occasion.
Really tough games. I've never had an easy game against Gary's teams, so they're really tough, but there'll be very little reflection on today, because I want to make sure that they're thinking about Monday. I want them to think and feel about Monday from tomorrow. They've had their chance to say their piece after the game, which they have, and now they've got to clear their minds and they've got to go again. I just thought at 3-1 and at 2, I just thought get Podge off. He's going to be a massive part. We're struggling for a little bit of depth in that position, and the pace of them two was just electrifying at times, and it brings excitement. So we'll be ready, and there'll be no excuses come Monday of all this. We played with 10 and we're fatigued and my legs hurt, and all of that nonsense won't be allowed.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for your time, Darren.
Top man.
We'll see you there on Monday.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Safe journey.